Watch me ride.
Oh, this damn glove. I've had enough of it. That's it. Your Velcro has been doing my head in for too long. Get lost. Had enough of it. Fucking glove. That Velcro has done my head in for months. I have had enough of it. It's gone. It's out of my life. Thank Christ. I'll just have to remember that when I have a crash, I put this hand down first, it'll be fine. It's only 50% risk. Anyway, let's have a look, see what we find on the beach today. What's that? Appears to be a set of motorcycle gloves. That's weird. And they fit. They fit nicely. What's this? Oh yeah, no more Velcro. Well, I guess we won't be needing you anymore. Oh yeah! That's more like it! Look at that. Look at them finger things. Okay, yeah, I'm just messing with you. Let's talk about gloves. What you're seeing here is about 7 years worth of gloves. Yeah, there's only 2 pairs. Now, these are, I bought these ones, let's see, over, I think 7 years ago roughly, something like that. Now if you'd like to look at them, you see, they're not in too bad a condition. The leather's still black. Yeah, this has gone a bit yellowy and fadey. The blue marks are coming off. Now I've crashed twice in these gloves, including my bad crash. You can see there's some damage from the crash, but it didn't get all the way through. It's just the outer surface. And you've got wear and tear, and that's quite normal. And the sides of the fingers, you can see there's holes forming here. That I believe, not this one, but one of the fingers I sewed it up a couple of times. You can see there's holes appearing there, but 5 years hard use, 2 crashes, you can't say much about that. Left one. Same sort of situation, that's normal wear and tear. Again, notice that this part hasn't degraded at all. Well, it's rusty on the thing, but generally it's up and together. You could still use these, albeit your fingers poke out holes. Now, because I had such a good experience with those SP1s, I searched high and low to get another pair of SP1s. And as you can see, if we compare these side by side, can you see there's a vent in here, and this is slightly different, because like this is lower, this is higher. So they changed a few things in between. So let's have a look at these more closely. Now keep in mind this is only 2 years use. So the body of the glove's in pretty good nick. It is fraying here, never crashed in these, so that's just through wear and tear of use. But notice up here, holes appearing in the finger already. Also notice the colour. I hope the camera can sort of, I'll try in shadow and not in shadow. Can you see the difference in colour? These faded so badly and seem to break so quickly. Also note here, see how that's torn through there? And also the Velcro is the main issue, just doesn't stick anymore because it's gone so pulled out. I've tried the whole, fluffing it up trick. I've tried the using a lighter to melt it down a bit trick, and none of it works. It's done. And the fact that the fingers are going as well is just like, okay, enough's enough with these gloves. Now, I bought these SP1s because these SP1s did so well. But as you can see here, you might even say, like, that's the newer glove than that, even though this one was used for 5 years and is 7 years old, and this one was only used for 2 years and is only 2 years old. Or when they were made a bit longer than that, I suppose. It just shows a degradation in quality. These were worth their money. They were well, actually, I got them in a deal for 80 quid, but they're about £140. It's totally worth their money, in my opinion. 140 quid, really comfortable gloves. As I say, I love a fair with these gloves. I think they're the best gloves that were ever made. Then I bought these, and they turned out to be almost as comfortable, but they're just not made as well. What degradation of quality in companies is something that really annoys me. It's we don't want to make the product more expensive, so we're going to have to make it cheaper. Or it's greediness that the company just wants to make things cheaper. I'm not saying Alpinestars don't make good stuff. They do make good stuff. But in these gloves, as an example, there is definitely a degradation in quality, and I'm done with Alpinestars gloves. No more, because if look at that, then that, the next set, what's it going to be? tatty mitten that you find on the floor. So these are the new ones. These are made by a company called Knox. We've got kangaroo palm. This little strap here has got a little roller wheel on it, so it doesn't put so much pressure on the middle strap. And this is the best bit for me. This system here, see this? It tightens up the sides with no Velcro. You've also got these weird fingers, which, as you can see, have got like tendony looking things that move. Basically, it's finger protection which moves your hand, so it doesn't limit movement, but you have good protection over your fingers, so nothing's going to really chop at them. Now, you might still break your fingers, I guess, but there's a lot more protection there than in these, even though it does look a bit weird. A bit steampunky maybe, I don't know, but they've also got hard plates here and here and proper wrist protection here and here. So I can see why they might look a bit extreme for some people, but they are very comfortable. The leather feels better than these. The construction of it just feels better. I'm really happy with them. Now, I must be completely clear about these gloves. I got these gloves from a company called Get Geared. I basically contacted them and said, hey, I need new gloves. I want to try those Knox hand droids. That's what they're called, hand droids. And I said, and I also want to get a code for my subscribers. And they did it. So if you go to getgeared.co.uk and use code SPICY110, so that's SPICY110, you get 10% off your order. I don't get anything back from that. It's just a little thank you for you guys. I'm going to try and do more of these things in the future, but I got a pair of gloves out of it that I absolutely wanted to try out, and they seem awesome. I haven't used them much. I've only just used them sort of maybe a couple of times. I'm trying to bed them in. We had to order a size smaller than the Alpinestars. These are a 2XL, these are only an XL. I have big hands. This closer system has a 2-year guarantee on it, I believe. But it's the same sort of thing they use on snowboarding stuff, and it is so good because it's easy to do. You can also, it seems to pull unevenly sometimes, but then you realise the whole thing can still move side to side. It just limits the amount it has. It's quite weird how it works. But I am so glad to have new gloves. I'm so glad to not have gloves with Velcro anymore, because it fails. And it was the first thing that failed. Well, these don't have Velcro. Movement's great in them. And so this one's a little tighter than this one. It turns out my right hand is a little bit bigger than my left, but that's starting to wear in, you know. It's good to get a pair of gloves that's slightly too tight to start with, because then they, you know, the fingers can stretch in length, they can stretch in thickness, and then they'll become the size of your hands perfectly, like these used to do for me. Bought these, they were a bit tight, they loosened up and turned into the perfect comfortable gloves. And I did like them, it's just the quality that's going downhill means that I was not getting that third set. So I'll show you close up, see how the fingers work. There's that closing system. And the wrist protection. I believe you can also remove this little Knox plate in the middle, but I'm not really fussed about doing that. And I will do a review of them in maybe a month's time, once they've properly bedded in and I can properly use them and see what they're like. The one thing I do notice is that these hard palm plates, for if you crash, can kind of feel like they're in the way a bit on your throttle hand. But I'm sure that's just a difference I'll get used to. You know, I'm very fussy about gloves. I like to have a gauntlet style that goes over the top of my jacket comfortably. And the SP ones were the only gloves I could find that really did that. You know, I've tried using other ones and they just, it bunched up and it never really worked. These work even better than those. They are quite expensive. They're a £200 pair of gloves. But, you know, people have spent more on gloves in the past. But of course, if you use the code SPICY110 at getgeared.co.uk, you can get them for 180. So it's 20 quid off, or, you know, 10% off on anything you need. I'm not trying to sell gloves for them or anything like that. It's just I wanted gloves and wanted to get a code to give you guys 10% off your gear that you want to buy, if you choose to use them. So it'd be interesting to know, what gloves do you use? Do you swear by a certain type? Have you bought repeated pairs like I did because you found the perfect glove? Did you find that the quality degraded? This is all an interesting subject. Lastly, and this is something you'll also see popping up on screen in the future, there is a company called Ride2, which is a website which basically helps you find motorcycle training. So if you want to do CBT, you know, A2, A1, whatever you want to do, full license, you just go to their website, link in the description, use my link, and you can put your postcode in there, the level of training you're after, and then it will give you a set of results, which are basically all your local schools, and you can actually book from there. It's very simple. I've tried it for my local area and it came up with all the local people I would expect to come up. So it's just there. Try it out if you want to use it. So if you want motorcycle training, it's a good way of finding a local school. Links in the description. Anyway, end of that video. I have things to do. I'm currently making a present for you guys, actually. You'll see in the future, but I'm making something that I'm going to give away. But I need some materials. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll catch you all next time. Do love these.